This is the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 38, the Cult Faction Podcast Holiday Special.
Superman.
Hi, welcome to the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 38, the Cult Faction Podcast Holiday Special. So once again, we're battling the elements. We've got colds, we've got coughs, we've got floods, we've got winds, we've got gales. Pretty much.
There's a storm coming.
There'll be a storm coming. So that means, once again, we're not on the studio. So I'm your host, Damien, and as ever, I'm joined down the line by
Paul Hawkins.
And Brett Summers.
Just realised I didn't actually know if I was the one that you were pointing at because it might have been different on my screen.
I was pointing to you, so that was all right.
Yeah.
So there's a blinding stroke of luck. So this week, in a break from our normal format, because A, we're not on the studio, and B, we don't really want to be talking for that long, we've been taking a look at the up and coming Christmas TV schedules. And we've highlighted a few things that we think may be of interest, stuff that we hope isn't of interest, whatever way is caught our eye. But before we do that, we're going to take a look back at the week that was in our televisual entertainment.
I was just going to say as well, to our non-UK listeners, some of these shows may be alien to you. So go check them out. Find them online. That's what we have to do.
Yeah, they might be on BritBox or something.
Or whatever you've got over there.
Don't get me started on BritBox.
Legally, of course.
Yes.
BritBox is good.
Through all legal channels. No BitTorrent sites or anything like that. So I am going to, seeing as Paul's just taking a big gulp of what could be honey and lemon, I'm going to go straight over to Brett. What televisual delights have kept you off the streets this week?
Okay, well, I have carried on my delve into Peacock arriving in the UK. And
I told you the Lost Symbol was produced by Peacock, didn't I?
I believe you mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I have finally, the UK has got the Punky Brewster revival show, where the lovable 80s sitcom is back, and now Punky is a grown-up with children herself. It comes across a quirky young girl, very similar to her in the original series. Really good. I mean, American sitcom, bit of cult sitcom, quite heartwarming, dug at the heartstrings type stuff. Does what it does. And I was really annoyed because I was getting into it. I'm about halfway through, and I thought, when's season 2 on? And guess what?
Cancelled.
It's been cancelled.
Oh.
And apparently it ends on a cliffhanger as well. I don't know what cliffhanger yet.
Always check before you start watching, Brett.
But it done really well and got really good reviews. So I thought it was a sitter. It was a there was no strain to that. Everyone was really excited it was back. Original cast and everything. Apart from the late George Gaines, who appears as a picture on the wall that they talk to.
When you said it's back, I didn't jump for joy on my seat. So I don't think everyone was overly looking forward to it.
I've also watched the Solar Opposites Christmas special, which was awesome. That's available now on Disney Plus. They do a really cool bit where they invent a Ready Player One machine, and then because in Ready Player One, when they go into The Shining, they do it, and they go into oh my god, what's it called? The Last Action Hero, where they have to get the Turbo Man doll, but then they realise that it's lame, and they dump the film and come out and do it, and then they all feel empty, and then they realise it's because they didn't finish their mission, they didn't get the Christmas cheer and spirit from it. So then they go back in and realise that in the device 40 years have passed since they were there, and because the kid didn't get the Last Action Hero doll, he's turned into like an evil dictator, and they have to kind of put the world back to rights that they ruined. And bizarrely, there is a lot of Christian message in it in its own way, but it does it well, and it was fun, and I liked it. So go and check that out on Disney Plus.
Good for you.
Not for the easily offended, but You know, it's got a bit of Christmas cheer in it. What else have I been watching? I rewatched the other day the classic cult comedy Old School, which was Luke Wilson, Will Ferrell, and Vince Vaughn. It still stands up very well. Probably now, well, I call it an early 2000s film, but considering it's 2021, yeah. So it's done well.
That is the one where
well.
Will Ferrell's running down the street naked, isn't it? And his wife's in the car.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Frank the Tank. It starts off all where he's like, you know, he's a new man now, and he gets married and all that, with the damn band singing the wedding songs. Turn around.
Yeah.
Can't do the rest. I have to pay for it. But yeah, no, really good. Still really funny. A lot of faces and people in the background that have now gone on to bigger and better and bolder things. And just like a lot of those films, really, it's that sort of crew, and you know what to expect. But still really good and still worth a watch. And Blue is still my boy. Just something else I've watched. Have I mentioned anything else that I've watched and I've forgotten? Oh, Doctor Who Flux. We got the final part. The final part of this time twisting, whatever it was, because I'm still not sure, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed it. It wasn't rubbish, but did it actually tie anything up? Did it actually do anything? And did Doctor Who commit mass genocide? I'm not sure, because half the universe got destroyed, but everyone was right at the end, and we went on an adventure.
Yeah, she didn't seem that bothered about the dog people being wiped out.
Or anyone. You know, the Daleks got wiped out, but then they're back New Year, so that's right.
Yeah, so unless we missed something, you're right. She doesn't seem to care that all her foes have been wiped out. Half the universe is gone. Poor old dog people have gone. It's a bit flat, I thought.
And then it was even better because old John Bishop didn't get a date with the lady after he saved her. You know, everything kind of went wrong for everyone. Like, well,
he wasn't late.
Come in the TARDIS instead. He just saved the universe. Cut the man some slack.
Exactly.
I did like I forgot the guy's name now, but I did look him up. The guy that built all the tunnels under Liverpool, because he was a real person, wasn't he? And that was all true. And I liked how they linked all that in. I thought that was really clever. And that's something that Doctor Who has always done really well, where they pick out those sort of Fortean unexplained bits here and there and actually sort of weave them into the story. They did one with Agatha Christie's disappearance in one episode ages ago.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, some of those things they do really well, but this one, I don't know if it was just overly ambitious or
I think
going to be explained a bit more
know.
later on.
I wouldn't say it was overly ambitious. I think well, I suppose you could say it's that, but they tried to squeeze too much into 6 episodes of 45 minutes. Because in those episodes, there was a lot of stuff that could have been spread out and explained if it was ran over. Even 8 episodes would have made it a little.
Well, I wonder,
the last one was really rushed.
Do we think? I mean, everyone in it was brilliant. Whittaker was good. They've all done well with what they got. But I'm just wondering, is this a thing where this might have been a 10-episode season that the BBC have gone, you've got 6 episodes, get on with it? Or something like that. Is this an interference?
Flagship show?
Well, they moved it to Sundays, didn't they, instead of Saturdays? That caused uproar to start with.
10 episodes for a storyline is a lot for the BBC.
Yeah, but that's what
trying to think
for Doctor Who.
How long were the Tennant and the
Yeah, most of them are like 10. Most of them are like 10, 15 episodes.
The series. But it was a series. But
that was more than 6 episodes. I'm sure it was.
But they'd have different story arcs. They'd have different story arcs throughout it. Flux was just one.
But always had like an interconnecting.
No,
maybe that little thing.
Yeah, they did.
No.
Yeah, they did.
No.
Yeah, they did.
No.
Even if it was just the one where there was the little crack thing in time, whatever it was, when it used to appear. You know, it'd be there.
River Song would pop up in episode 3, but then you wouldn't see it again until episode 6 or whatever.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe it still might get answered in the one on New Year, but I don't know now. To me, it since Matt Smith's left, has it been that good? No. I think writing has slowly gone downhill.
Yeah,
and I think
it's not been as good since Sylvester McCoy hung up his umbrella, but
Not the Penguin. I'd rather watch Danny DeVito in it, to be honest.
I'd love him as an uncensored Doctor Who. Wow, this time shit. But yeah, but it was, I don't know, I kind of thought this was the one that was gonna pull it together and give it that big WTF moment that led us into New Year's Day, and suddenly it was all cool again. And it, like you say, it didn't really do much when you had that snake serpent bloke. He's been dumped on an asteroid now. So I guess maybe the threads are there to pull something back together. Because is it right, Joe? Is it Joe's got 3 specials left now or something? Isn't it? There's a New Year one. So it may still play out, but it would be nice. After all, the same with the Doctor's secret past is in the watch, and then she finally gets the watch, then puts it away. It's like the one bit anyone was interested in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think. That's why it just went a little bit flat, because you didn't really get. Yeah, you got resolution of the threads of the storyline, if you like, but not resolution of the overall what is actually going on, because that all started in the last season, didn't it?
Yeah, the timeless child.
Yeah, exactly.
Or children or whatever it was. But maybe it will still come through.
Even though he's painted himself into a corner and he suddenly realised, shit, if I do this, can't go anywhere with Doctor Who, so that would be the end of it. And he's now trying to backtrack out of all of it.
I wonder how much of it is like hit or like the people above going, because there's been things before where people have written stuff and then just been told, actually, you can't do that, and then they've had to change it at the last minute or leave something alone. So it'd be interesting. We won't know that for about a year till after he's out of the role, and then we find out that this is what he was gonna do, but they told him he couldn't and all that. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. But again, everyone worked well with what they had. It just felt the story could have done with about another half hour to just kind of explain it a bit. So I think even the diehards were like, "What?"
Exactly.
So yeah, that's probably it for me until I remember something else and shout over you all in a minute.
Fair dues. In that case, we'll go over to Paul, if he can speak for long enough.
So I'm probably going to keep this quite quick. So I haven't been watching too much. A lot of my evenings have actually been taken up with I'm a Celeb, which I've found quite addictive. However, Wheel of Time. The Wheel of Time is forever spinning on Friday nights, waiting for the new episodes to drop. And I got to say, it's getting better. It's growing on me, and I'm not sure whether it's because it's like always like in the back of my head. I think it's always the underdog, compared to some of the other episodes or series out there, or to be coming over the next year or so. But no, I think it's good. Most of the special effects are good. I've mentioned some of the bad ones in the past that they'll keep being bad. It's following the story. I forgot his name now, but there's a friendly
Casper.
Friendly creature that joins them. His name's something like L'Oreal or something.
L'Oreal.
And in my head, when you read it in the book, he's like this quite giant type thing, like a 10-foot tall giant. But in the actual TV series, it just looks like a man that's quite tall with some makeup on, which was a bit disappointing. But as I said, on the whole, it's growing on me, and I think the other pleasing thing about it is that the viewing numbers are actually really good for Wheel of Time. So yeah, maybe when next series turns up, they'll give it some more budget to really finish off those special effects. The other one.
So that means I might. Sorry to. You originally started off with Wheel of Time, and I thought I might give that a watch. Then over the couple of weeks, it's gone. No, I won't give it a watch. Now might have turned me back round to.
That's what I was going to say. Has it pulled back? Has it pulled itself back?
Yeah, so it wasn't bad to start with. It's just, in the back of my head, it was different to the books, and I don't want to give too much away, but they try and make a big deal about who's the Dragon Reborn where they really don't need to, and it's a bit silly. But yeah, I forgive it all that. And let's put it this way, it's better than Xena Warrior Princess special effects wise. Okay, I mean, I know I may have been dissing it in the past, but most of the special effects are actually quite good. I'd have just done some things a bit differently or whatever, but no, it's certainly worth a watch, but only if you're willing to give it a go. So you know the premise, it's got magic in it, it's got Trollocs, which are like big ogre type things. It's that kind of thing with so if you don't like magic,
what are they called?
Trollocs.
Are they sweaty?
Yeah, and big and furry. But that's what I mean. So if you kind of know that that's what you're going to get, then you should be all right.
Do you know how many episodes there are?
I want to say 8, and I don't know why.
Okay, you say 8. If you want to say 8, you can.
There may be more. I don't know.
I want to say it's about 8 or 10, I think.
Yeah. But anyway,
I'm just thinking that if it starts bad but gets a little, if it sounded like it's getting better again.
So for season 5,
it's probably worth watching.
Yeah, so episode 5, it's good. They're all coming up to the White Tower now, so things are coming to the crunch point where we're going to find out who the Dragon Reborn is surely soon, and then hopefully take it on a different spin.
8 episodes is 8 episodes. I just checked.
Cool. So I was right.
Yeah.
So we did a review. Well, we watched a trailer on it a few weeks ago, and this was for 8-Bit Christmas.
Ooh.
So this is one with Neil Patrick Harris, How I Met Your Mother fame, and lots of other films.
Doogie Howser.
Yeah.
It'd always be Barney to me.
The original Doogie Howser, opposed to the Hawaiian Doogie Howser that's out at the moment, or whatever it is. We've got Steve Zane in it, and some others as well. I'm not going to go into them because most of them are the child actors that probably never heard of. And this is one where he's reminiscing about his childhood life with his daughter, basically to impart the importance of Christmas and explain how good she's got it. And it goes on about how they struggled to come up or basically get a Nintendo Entertainment System, the original one. And there's only one kid in their neighborhood that basically had it, the rich kid, and he'd basically be the get them all to do truffle shuffles or take lotteries to get in to actually come and play on the NES. And there are some really good bits in it, and there's some nice touches in it, where they're trying to explain the difference between the 80s and nowadays, i.e. riding down the road, and are you wearing the helmet, Daddy? Yeah. And then in his memory, his helmet just magically appears on his head, and all that kind of stuff. And there are some nice touches to it. It's an odd one because it's I think in my head I was thinking it's going to be slapstick all the time, almost like a Home Alone type thing. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it was a Christmassy film, and in your head maybe that's why you think it. I think if you go into watching it kind of more like it's going to be a funny Wonder Years type 2 hours, as opposed to it's going to be laugh out loud all the way through, then that's probably where it would hit the nail on the head. It's more of that sentimental kind of comedy stuff, and it's got some nice touches to it, and there's almost like the ode to his father at the end, where because his father was dead in this time, and so they're at Christmas and they're thinking about how great his father were, and I won't ruin it, but there's some stuff that alludes to it. About where in the past you maybe you thought he was like really hard for not getting him a Nintendo, but he did something else that was even better. And it's all about family, and it's all about Christmas. It's not about what entertainment system you have. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so if you're thinking more of a sentimental kind of a chortle type or laugh inward type 2 hours, then go for it. And really good acting from all the kids, actually. So yeah, I can't really complain. and that's really all I can be bothered to talk about. The rest is just reality stuff, which we don't need to hear, and you don't need to hear me waffle on about it. Me done.
Fair enough.
Peace out.
Fair enough. Mr. Hicks, what have you been watching?
So, I've only been watching a few things. I've, like Paul, have been trapped in that I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here loop. Where
This is the first year I've not watched it, I think.
You're not missing anything. It just so happens that by the time we've got the kids to bed and eaten and showered and all that sort of stuff, it's just started on the telly, and you kind of, before you know it, you've got sucked in.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. I can't be bothered to spend 10 minutes trying to look for stuff to watch.
Exactly. This is it. So, Doctor Who, we've already talked about. I didn't watch it from the start, so I caught up with it all of this week. So that is actually quite a big chunk of viewing. And Elves on
I
think it's Netflix.
See that. Yeah, Netflix.
So think back to the trailer that we watched maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That trailer tells you everything you need to know, and nothing more is revealed in the show itself.
Right.
Exactly.
So you've seen all of it.
So there's 6 episodes. They're only about 23 minutes long. So I'm presuming that when they're aired in Denmark, I think it's Danish. When they're aired in Denmark, they had adverts, so they would probably run for half an hour.
Yeah.
But they're only literally 23 minutes long, roughly, and not a lot happens. I'm trying to not give stuff away because
there's no big conclusion or anything.
But there is no.
Did you go subtitles or did you go dubbed?
We did subtitles.
Okay. No, I just wondered because sometimes
I don't think that would make any difference. It doesn't take going subtitles wouldn't give you anything you don't get from the.
It's not Squid Games controversy there, Brett.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, I know exactly where you're going, and it's not. So, if you think back to the trailer was they hit something in the road.
Yeah.
Kid goes back, picks up what they.
Yeah,
she picks up what they hit. Then we see the little troll thing, but then we also see.
Then she drops it in some water and it multiplies.
Do you know what? It doesn't. It has that look and feel to it. To be fair, in the first couple of episodes or scenes, I can't remember which. How much of it was in one episode and how much is in others. Because, like I said, they're only 20 minutes long, so we watched about 4 on the trot.
Yeah.
But yeah. So and then you see the bigger, the grown-up trolls, if you like, elves even. I keep calling them trolls because the little one looks like the things that stick pencils up their ass. But you're expecting to actually understand or find out what they're all about.
Because isn't the whole thing as well from the trailer? There's the community, and you're not sure whether
exactly.
the community is like keeping them in or saving them well from them.
There was a fence, wasn't there?
So they're fenced in. Obviously, it's clear that something happens. There's a break in the equilibrium of the island, and they escape. We know all that from the trailer. But what I'm getting at is it doesn't tell you anything about why they're there, what happened to
like the
make the fence.
Yeah.
There's a few snippets, tiny one or two lines about what happened to make the fence and all that, but there's none of the mythology, if you like, of what they actually are, how they came about. You literally get, I think one person speaks a line along the lines of, they've always been here, and we invaded their space. That's it.
It's a shame in one of the end sequences or something. There's just not like a little bit of dirt that's like dug into the ground, and it's like Santa Claus's rotten old hand or something.
Yeah, that would be cool. But none of that, and it does end on a here's the second season coming type ending, which again I won't give away, but not in any real kind of cliffhanger way. It's just literally, right, that's how they could do it then.
So are you left wanting to watch another season though?
Not particularly,
no.
Unless they're gonna, all I can think of is they're gonna expand on the mythology of what they actually are. And don't get me wrong, the effects are pretty decent. The sound effects of the elves is pretty cool. The clicking and crunching as they walk.
Was it Alan Tiddick doing it?
No, it's not. It just got me what you were talking about then. But it's just not as good. They made it look really good and really creepy, and it just isn't. It's almost like an extended Goosebumps episode. with a little bit more gore thrown in.
So I was thinking this, and was it the trailer or was it us just being hopeful and wanting it to be more?
It could have been, but if it was just us, we're not the exception, because I remember seeing a lot of tweets about it and stuff on the internet. Really looking forward to this. This looks really creepy. I can't wait for this to drop and all that sort of stuff. And it just isn't as good as we were hoping for. Okay. And some of the decision making, and I've mentioned this so many times in so many TV shows and movies, but the kid, you just think, I'm gonna come out and say it. You want her to get killed. So fucking annoying.
I was like that with The Sound of Music. But okay, I was kind of up for Elves though.
It's still, like I say, it's not. I wouldn't say don't watch it. If you do watch it, I would say just clear however hours 6 episodes of 20 odd minutes runs to. I can't be bothered to work it out. We watched it over 2 nights, but maybe if you watched it all in one go, it might make it a little bit better. If you see what I mean.
Yeah. Well,
we watched 4, then watched the final 2.
That has reminded me.
That break took us out of it.
That has reminded me of something else I watched.
Go on then, because I've only got the only thing I've got left is The Secret World of Hornby, which doesn't really fit this podcast, but I'm addicted to it.
That's in the trains.
Mm-hmm.
And the
not
R1
just trains, Brett. Not just trains.
Go on.
It's miniature locomotives and miniature railways, Airfix models, and scale electric. So it's not just trains. Don't just say trains.
Do they have an R186 signal box?
I'm sure they do.
I know. Okay.
And you don't have to look in the yellow pages for it.
Oh, and that bloke from Heartbeat. Half the audience have no clue what we're talking about now. But for the ones that do, well done for sticking with us. Now I watched
and Corgi as well. It's not just if they got Corgi as well in their brand now as well. Just before we move on.
The Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, okay, cool.
I watched it the other night. I hadn't seen it for ages. It was on something, and I thought, I'll give that a watch again. I remember it being pretty cool. And it was such a clever film, and I just forgot everyone who was in it. And also, when you watch it, Chris Hemsworth is in it, and he was kind of a big guy then, but he looks really small compared to what he looks like now. Just like, he wasn't small to start with. He's like the jock guy, and he's, and then you're just like, man, you've got a lot of work out.
And there wasn't much time between that and Thor, so he really did hit the gym.
Yeah, I mean, and now he looks 4 times the size of then. He was in it. There's a dude from Grey's Anatomy whose name escapes me now. I know he's in Grey's Anatomy. I don't know the actor's name. Or Grey's Anatomy.
He's the son of the rich woman that basically owns the hospital at the end of the series. Okay.
And I can't remember, the 2 women have been in stuff as well now since. And everyone's, they're all. Yeah, but it's just a really clever, all the different horror tropes, the sacrifice, the Sigourney Weaver cameo at the end, spoiler bell. Well, it's probably 20 years old now, so it's like...
Yeah, it is 2003 or 4, I'm sure.
So if you,
and I think we gave much more away a few weeks ago when we covered it, so don't worry about spoilers.
That's right. But it was that was probably what put it in my head, and when I saw it, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
And then and I just always still like that bit with all the different horror people in the little boxes, or changed just enough not to be sued,
Yeah.
But it still stands out. If you've not seen it, go and see it, because it's not the film you think it's going to be, and it's really good.
Cool. Okay. Well, on that note, I think it's time we take a look at the up and coming Christmas TV schedule.
Woohoo!
And we're back. I say back in the room. Back in our individual rooms.
Back in our boxes.
Yeah, although I can actually only see Paul's forehead, but I don't know if that's.
Oh, trust me, don't want to see any more today.
Fair dues. So then, the Christmas radio times arrived for me today, which made me think we should just maybe have a look at stuff that's coming up in this festive period and highlight.
And let's
virtually
face it,
circle the TV shows that we may want to watch.
Yeah, because
memories.
that was the thing, wasn't it? Yeah, everyone looked forward to the Radio Times Christmas catalog. Well, the catalog special
the bumper special edition.
magazine. Yeah,
you get there, argue over it if you had siblings, and get your marker pen out and circle anything you wanted to watch. Of course, that was back in the days when we didn't have movie channels, so in some cases it was the first time we got to see the films.
And at that point, we may have only had 3 channels in there.
Yeah, that's true.
and the dodgy VHSs that your dad managed to get from some guy he used to work with.
So, shall I go first?
Yeah, go on then. You are the patron saint of the TV Times or Radio Times.
Of Radio Times, I like that. So there's a lot to go through.
What caught you first?
So what's caught my eye? There's 2 things from Mark Gatiss, which I'm pretty sure is the correct pronunciation. I've been saying Gatiss for years, but apparently that's wrong. I'm sure it's Gatiss. So he's got a Ghost Story for Christmas coming up. It's on BBC. I don't know whether it's BBC 2 or BBC 4. It's another M.R. James adaptation. It's going to be good.
Do we know which one?
We do, and I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the Mezzotint. That's how it's spelled. Yeah, sounds about right, doesn't it? I have read it, obviously, because I've read all of M.R. James's stories and books. I don't remember it though, so it will be interesting. And he's also got gone.
I was going to say, so it's not Mr. James.
No, it's M.R. James.
All these years.
No, all these years you've been.
Never could find him in the library.
So the reason I keep pausing is I've got 2 screens and I keep trying to grab the wrong mouse.
So you want to make sure you're grabbing the right mouse.
Yeah, definitely, especially in this room. You never know. I think I've solved the mouse problem, but never be too sure. I think it's been 365 days since the last mouse incident. Anyway, and he's also got The Amazing Mr. Blunder. That is definitely on BBC One, and that's a family drama about a haunted house. This is the second time this has been made. There was one made in the 70s, which I know we would have seen because it was like repeated hundreds of times during the 80s.
I've never heard of it. I
think it's one of those. I hadn't heard of it until I heard about this version, and then found some clips on YouTube of the original. And yeah, I do remember seeing it. I don't remember the storyline, I don't remember the plot or anything like that, but I remember I've definitely seen it. So there's no doubt, probably with your photographic memory, Brett, if you see a clip on YouTube, you go, oh yeah, I've seen that, and he does this, he does that, and it stars so and so from UFO or something.
I'm just looking for it now.
What a surprise. So yeah, there's a couple of things.
Okay. No, I think this has passed me by. Dinah Dawes was in the original.
I think the thing about that from him as well is it was one of those things. He watched it as a kid, and it always stuck with him, and so he wanted to make a better version. And got a lot of time for him, actually. Just the stuff that he's done. And he's also doing
horror was amazing.
And he's also doing Christmas Carol as well at the Alley Pally.
That's right. Which is, I think they're missing a trick there, because like last year they filmed a lot of theatre, didn't they, to put on BBC on BBC 4 and stuff like that. And I think that would have been a good candidate to do this year, especially with him in it. So that's a shame they're not doing that. I guess they want people to go in theatres, don't they? But even so, that'd have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's in The Amazing Mr. Blunder, the new one? Who do we?
I've no idea. I've written a list of stuff. This is a whistle-stop tour of stuff we should be watching.
Okay. No, I just wondered.
I mean, you feel free if you want to Google it and start listing some names. I'm not going to stop you, but it's a whistle-stop tour.
Oh man, you're in for a treat. It's only Simon Callow.
Cool.
And Tamsin Greg. Is that Redcap?
No, she was.
That's Tamsin Outhwaite.
Yeah, you're thinking Tamsin Outhwaite. This Tamsin Gregg is Green Wing and
Friday Night Dinner.
Yeah,
and Black Books. Oh, that one.
Oh yeah, Black Books. Black Books.
Too many Tamsins. Okay, but Simon Callow on the comeback trail.
He's never really gone away.
He never went away.
Just, you don't see him on the telly. Doesn't mean he's disappeared.
I know, but
he was doing the Scrooge and all that sort of stuff last year or the year before, and he does a lot of Dickens stuff.
All right, Damien.
On stage. What?
Oh, and Gatiss is in it himself as well.
Yeah.
Of course he is. He doesn't just make things and then not appear in them.
He writes the theme tune, sings the theme tune.
Yeah, exactly. What was that? Sorry, Paul.
I said, and no doubt you're looking forward to the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, I can't wait.
You love a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
This one
I'm
hasn't
sure
got
I
a
said
blow.
it when this one ended. The last one ended with the what do you call
Mandalorian.
it? Mandalorian. It didn't excite me, that bonus scene at the end. I'm not wetting my pants. The excitement of that coming out. I'd rather see more Baby Yoda, or whatever his name is. Grogu, whatever it was. What was it? That's the one. Grogu.
I'm just sat here holding my head shaped, right? That's fair enough. I'm still looking at The Amazing Mr. Blunder. This looks amazing, and I know nothing about it, so I didn't even know this was coming up. So thank you.
It's a good job you listened to the podcast, then, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I've got an exclusive because I've heard it before everyone else. But yeah, the Book of Boba Fett is coming to Disney Plus, and it's going to be amazing. And if you don't watch it, you're square or whatever.
Is it though? And this is me being sarcastic, but have you actually seen anything other than the short trailer that was on the other week?
Yes, Lucasfilm invited me over to the Skywalker Ranch, and I sat down and watched it.
No, but so you've seen exactly the same as I have.
Yeah,
so,
I'm
not trying to be harsh or being a dick, but why is it going to be amazing? What have you seen in those two bits?
Well, what I've seen and what I'm hoping it develops into may be two different things.
Exactly.
But I'm hoping we get to see the sort of underworld and the gangster side of the Star Wars universe, because there's a lot of stories in that, and it could link back to the Solo movie as well with I forget their name now, but there's the criminal organization that sort of controls the sort of black market in the galaxy and all that, which ends up with
I wasn't fussed by the Solo movie.
I thought it was really good. It needed a sequel. It's probably, I don't know, it's on a par with Rogue One for me, because it just exposed a lot more of what's going on in the universe. Black Sun, I want to say Black Sun, is that what they were called? But anyway, it's the criminal sort of side of it, and I'm hoping more for a kind of, obviously it won't be that scary, but a kind of Sopranos Godfather in space, where you'll start to see all the different networks of criminality that may occur through the galaxy after the fall of the Empire and before the rise of the, what was they called, the new Empire? No, what were they called? The First Order. But yeah, we can see though. Or it may just be lots of explosions and some new toys.
Exactly.
Anything on Boba Fett, Paul?
Boba Fett.
The Book of Boba Fett?
Where's Boba Fett? Sorry, that was a Return of the Jedi misquote. No. So I don't. I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but I'm looking forward to watching it quietly.
Another one that's coming up that I'm quite excited about, but I think I'm going to have to go back and watch the first series again because I've nearly forgotten about it. It was The Witcher.
Yeah,
I'm the same. I'm going to have to rewatch, or maybe hopefully they'll do a synopsis. Although they did that with Lock and Key, and it didn't help me in any way, shape, or form. Again, yeah, like you, Brett, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm going to have to do some sort of recap. I don't know if I can sit through another 8 episodes.
Yeah, I don't think I'll watch it again, but I might just read like the Wikipedia.
Yeah, go to Wikipedia and get the episode synopsis. Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, it should be good though. It's just, I don't know. That was just a show that I think that was a victim of lockdown as well. It was just a show that like everyone watched and loved, and then about a week later, Tiger King came out, and that was it. It got the phenomenon got taken over by the next phenomenon, because I think that was it around those times of sort of big series getting put on in bulk, and Lock and Key was another one. I know that's coming back soon as well, but that's like you were saying, that was another
it's already back.
It's back, isn't it? Sorry, yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but that was another one that kind of went out as pretty much a full series. Then you watched it, and then another full series came on, and you watched that, and then another full series came on, and you watched that, and it was. I think that's why my memory's overloaded. There is one big show to me.
Yeah.
But it's good. I'm looking forward to it, and it's good to see that it actually got a second series because I was a bit worried it wouldn't. I thought it might be a bit too niche, but it's done well. Was it Spare a Coin for Your Witcher or whatever it was, that song? Because I think that even charted, didn't it?
Did it? I don't know.
I think it was that big for about a month, and then everyone moved on to the next phenomenon.
Yeah.
Cool. What else we got then?
So,
well, in true,
go Paul.
Well, go Paul.
I was going to say,
I'm excited.
No, obviously BBC have to have some classics, and no doubt we'll talk about a couple of the other ones as well. One of which I'm just not looking forward to. It just brings back some childhood memories anyway. But they've obviously got a bit of budget, and they've decided to bring out an old Doctor Who in David Tennant and recreate Around the World in 80 Days. And I don't know. I was almost looking forward to it because, again, it was a good setup for BBC at Christmas production. Until you hear the description, it's a romp. It's got real heart to it as well. It feels like a genuine. This phrase is often overused, but it feels like a genuine piece of family entertainment. And that kind of ruined it for me.
I mean,
I was just trying to find some words to see if I cared, and I don't really.
No, it kind of.
I was going to say, when we spoke about it ages ago, I think the trailer was out, or we mentioned it ages ago in a podcast, and I'll probably end up watching it, but I'm not. I'll be interested to see how they play out some of the more historical matters of the series, shall we say?
I just don't think they will. I think
two.
Yeah, they just either won't be in it or complete character changes and stuff like that. That's what they do now. And they kind of have to, I guess. But yeah, like you, I'm not gonna get out of my way. It'll be one of those things that I'll record, and it will sit on the planner for a while, and it will probably be about March, and it will be Sunday afternoon. Should we watch this? Yeah, it's been sat there for 3 months, 4 months. Let's give it a go.
No, I can see what
they've obviously got some budget for it because they've got Hans Zimmer doing the soundtrack to it.
Yeah, isn't it co-production with Peacock or something? Or no, Paramount.
There you go.
Because I think when we were talking about it in the podcast the last time when it came up, we were kind of going, well, how is it? Where is it going to be over here? If it's Paramount over in the States, where's it? How would we get to see it? And that's answered our question. Good old Radio Times.
The thing is, if it's between Around the World in 80 Days on BBC One, Celebrity Mastermind on BBC Two, Paul O'Grady at a dog's home on ITV, and like something on Channel 4 that no one will watch anyway, it's probably going to be Around the World in 80 Days, isn't it? It's like, you know what I mean? It's or like, live from a cathedral somewhere or something, singing Christmas hymns. Around the World in 80 Days is going to win. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's on Boxing Day as well, so it's not.
Oh, so it's going to ruin my birthday.
Well, Brett, to be honest with you, and your birthday, you'd be lucky if that's the only thing that does ruin it. It's not some typhoon.
Yeah. I'm just glad we've had a storm already. So, we're living the storm at the moment.
We've had the volcanoes.
James Brown. Well, that was the day before, though. That was Christmas Day, wasn't it? But everyone was on about it.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah, there's been a few things. Babies.
I was going to ask a question, but it's probably not appropriate for our podcast. So I'll ask that when we're done recording.
Ooh.
It's just something someone normally leaves us at Christmas. Someone famous. So, but anyway.
So if you want to email in with who you think it's going to be.
Cool. On that note, I'm going to swift us. So I've spotted in Cobra Kai. Oh, I forgot what number season it is. Number 5, I think.
4.
No, number 4. Number 4. Have you not watched any Cobra Kai yet?
So I watched the first season. I think I got to the end of the first season, and not through no fault of it being crap or anything like that. I just didn't get. I must have finished it, but didn't then get round to watching any seasons after. And nothing in it. I can't remember in my mind any reason to go back to it, if that makes sense.
Okay, when does season 4 start? Have we got a date?
No, not now, because I've closed the Radio
When-
Times.
Sorry. Yeah,
I
you
think it's
closed the radio
towards the end of
Times.
December.
Okay, I reckon on that note, and you got about 3 weeks. That's one season a week. You'll be ready.
One season a week.
It's easy to do.
Give it a go.
Because they're only 20 minutes, half hour again. I think they're not. I don't
What's it
remember.
on? Because it was originally YouTube, wasn't it?
It was
Which
YouTube.
is what
when
I think I
YouTube-
watched it on.
It was when YouTube were trying to launch their
Yeah.
own of Netflix, and then that didn't really work. So it was
Netflix.
YouTube Red or something like that, and then they sold it to Netflix.
Okay, so it's on Netflix.
Boatload of cash. Yeah, the first 2 seasons were YouTube, because that was when I watched it. And
Maybe that's
then-
why I didn't go back, because I did the free trial or something.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think that's what I did, and then
that's why I never went back to it.
And then it got on Netflix, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, have you seen the show Cobra Kai?" And I was like, "I told you that last year."
Although that is weird, because I've just noticed.
For our listeners at home, Paul has moved the camera. I can now see all of his face and his Cobra Kai t-shirt.
And pants.
That sock you got stuffed down there.
Pain does not exist in the dojo. But yeah, no, you should watch it. It is an awesome continuation of the show.
And season 3 really did end on a high note.
Yes, it was probably one of the greatest moments of popular culture TV history. And the people that write in it really do their homework. They have gone back over the Karate Kid films with a fine-tooth comb and picked out even the smallest little details that might have been mentioned at one throwaway line in one of the films can be a big deal later on in 30 years' time where we're watching it now. You know, like it's that sort of, down to like the cards. No, really, really good. It's well written, well acted with, you know, the people you'd expect, and pretty much all the original cast apart from obviously Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
Although he does make the odd appearance.
Yeah, good old flashbacks. And they even said that the people behind it even said they considered the next Karate Kid to be canon as well. So they've honoured all the things of Mr. Miyagi's background that he mentions in that film. And that also leaves the door open for Hilary Swank to turn up.
Does that mean that Hilary Swank can...
So they've even gone that far. They haven't ignored it.
Or whatever.
Said, yeah.
Whatever she gets paid for doing that.
So it's like, so yeah, that should be watched. And season 4, I think, is gonna break Netflix records. I know every new show seems to keep breaking whatever record came out before it, but
yeah, but they could make it up. They don't actually release their figures, do they? So
no,
they
that's
could
true.
make that shit up.
Yeah, they could be lying just the whole time. 6 people watched it.
Yeah, exactly.
3 of them are here, but yeah, no, but definitely worth a watch if you've not seen that. And
Cool.
again, I still say it all owes its existence to How I Met Your Mother.
Definitely.
If
Yeah.
you've seen that episode, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. If not, have a Google.
Yeah.
But
Go back and rewatch
really good, 'cause
10
I think
seasons of
without
How I
that,
Met Your
we-
Mother. 'Cause
one
you have to
episode-
watch. You can't just watch 2 or 3 episodes of that. Because
That's true. As well.
what we're talking about, it comes up more than just once.
Yeah, builds, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the ends on the big ones is when it was his
Yeah.
surprise birthday. But yeah, that was go and do that as well. You won't be disappointed, apart from the ending. But that's another story.
That's a matter of opinion.
I liked
yeah.
it. I'm just saying
Yeah.
the majority of people weren't
I know.
happy.
I don't get that. I really don't
No.
understand. That's just because see the mother. Get over
Yeah.
it.
I should
I
have
could
done
spend an hour talking about How I Met Your Mother. We're not going to do that.
easy. If that's what you'd like, though, let us know and we could do a
Yeah,
spin-off.
we'll do it.
How I Met Your Podcast. But that probably exists. But right, other thing I'm looking forward to on BBC One again. Not quite up there with Cobra Kai, but still in my eyes as important as a cult TV series that is like Doctor Who has seen various leads come and change as it's gone along, and it's developed. And it's become, it stands up on its own shoulders now, and it's finally got its own Christmas special on the BBC. Ladies and gentlemen, Death in Paradise.
Yes.
90 minutes. And Danny John Jules is back as Officer Dwayne Myers in this.
Awesome.
What more can you want? That's my Christmas
I had
stuff.
no idea they did a Christmas special of this, so
I do wonder if it
excited.
was. I do wonder if it was going to be a Christmas special or it was just all the episodes they filmed before lockdown and they managed to put them together into something because
Yeah.
lockdown affected stuff. But either way, we'll be in for a treat. Ralph Little, Danny John Jules, and all the cast are back here and there who were left at the last one. What was it, season 10? I can't remember now.
Oh, no idea.
But yeah, it's that great show where you can't always figure out the killer, and if you do, how did they do it? Because it's all a little bit weird.
Isn't some of it, if Dwayne's in it, is it UK based?
I
Or is he going back
believe
over there?
they haven't revealed the story, but it said something about it's set in San Marie and London, so maybe
Do
they
you know
have
what?
to.
So if that's the case, imagine you're an actor, you've got a call. We've got you Death in Paradise. You'd be like, yes! You're in the London scenes.
When do I fly out? Well, you don't need to
Yeah.
fly out, but the taxi's coming.
You'd be devastated, wouldn't you?
Well, to be honest, I'd be happy just to be in that show. I looked up where it was to go on holiday at one point. San Marie's not a real place,
No,
but I found out where it was.
Guadeloupe, isn't it? I'm sure it's
Something like that. And
yeah.
the police station is the church hall, the local church
really?
hall. And of course, they've had a lot more people going to church there now.
Yeah, I bet. Cool.
But
That's
so
good.
that's coming back. So yeah, woohoo! And anyone got anything else?
So looking at my list, and it's just reminded me, I didn't mention it when I talked about what I'd watched. So Rosalgamage rather has got 2 episodes coming up over Christmas. I think it's on I don't know what you call them. There's 2 days where we don't work, but they're not Boxing Day or Christmas Day because that falls on a weekend. So it's just
bank holidays-ish days.
Something like that. Yeah, they might be bank holiday, whatever they are.
The between days.
So on the Tuesday and Wednesday, we got a couple of Rosalgamage episodes. I've not read about them, so I don't know what they're all about. But like I say, it's reminded me that I watched that during this week, the Bonfire Night special that was on a couple of weeks back.
Guy Fawkes.
Yeah, the Guy Fawkes one. That's really good. And I did lose my shit a little bit and got well excited because, and some of you eagle-eyed viewers that have seen it might have noticed the 2 main characters from Detectorists were setting up in the background of one particular scene. I can't remember their names, but it's obviously the Mackenzie Crook and the guy that played everyone in the pub in Toby Jones. That's it. They were setting up in the background in the far distance in a field is TVR, which is the car that he drives, and Detectorist was parked up and a couple of guys getting out, setting up their Detectorist equipment. So yeah, I lost my shit during that. I think that was really cool. But yeah, so a couple of episodes of that coming up. No idea what the plot lines are. I think looking at the picture that was in the Radio Times, you got Aunt Sally in there again, but obviously a better version of Aunt Sally, not the 1980s Una Stubbs version.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone moans about it, but Mackenzie Crook's version does actually follow the books and the original thing, where it not just sort of as great as he was. It was kind of what John Pertwee wanted to do this week.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think in any of the episodes there's any been mention of a cup of tea and a slice of cake. I don't think that's been mentioned in any episode so far.
No, he mentioned it at one. He says he doesn't like it or something. I think it might have been the first episode. There was like a little bit of a, I don't like that.
I used to hate it. I can still see his bloody little mouth. Oh, a cup of tea and a slice of cake. Oh, I hated it.
Why?
Where was your Rosalgamage from? Out of interest.
I'm not very well.
Detroit Gummage. What made you hate it? Were you just scared of the Crowman or movie?
I wasn't scared about it at all. I just used to hate it. I thought it was rubbish. It just wound me up. I can't explain it. I just hated it.
Venom.
Yeah, I hated it. Move on. Just move on.
Fair enough. Okay.
What would you like us to move on to, Paul?
I don't know. Well, I'm looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, but we don't have much information about it at the moment. Other than the fact that it takes place between, what was it, Love and Thunder and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I did see if Chris Hemsworth as part of the cast, but he's not showing up, so I think that says something.
Well, he's not been listed. Everyone else is, but you know, I'm sure there'll be a few surprises. Apparently, it's going to be like 45 minutes, and it is going to be part of Marvel's Phase 4 of the MCU. So it's not a throwaway.
I know,
but it's not the Star Wars holiday special.
No. I think that's what they're going for in their own way. But
I think they're trying to do a proper version as opposed to.
A variety show.
No, a proper holiday special. Maybe it's an ode to that, but they want to do a decent job of it as opposed to, recreating the debacle that it was. Yeah.
But he has said, James Gunn has said he has been a fan of the Star Wars holiday special as a child. So this is where he got the idea from. So we may see a little bit of tongue-in-cheek on that. Cause,
yeah.
But no.
And it's Guardians of the Galaxy anyway, isn't it? So it's bound to be tongue-in-cheek.
I guess of any of those any of that stuff, that's the one that could get away with parody.
Definitely.
I mean, none of the others could, I guess.
It was the greatest, in my opinion. Guardians of the Galaxy is still the greatest success story of the MCU at the moment, because they just took a bunch of characters that were sort of third, fourth string comic book characters that kind of guested in other people's comics rather than sort of had their own. Really, I mean, they have over the years, but and all that. But they weren't. They weren't the X-Men. They weren't the Avengers. They weren't the Fantastic Four. They were kind of around. They might come and help them because they knew some space stuff that they didn't or whatever. But they took them. And when they announced the film, I was like, why are they making a film of that? And then it turned out to be the best one. And has carried on being it because it manages to fit itself into all that stuff, take it seriously while still being humorous, entertaining, funny. And just the genius step of the
well, they are the only ones that I've gone out of my way to watch.
Yeah, the Walkman in the first one, and then he got an iPod in the second. Well, no, he didn't. He got a MP3 player in the second one, and it could have 400 songs on it. So he's excited about that. So I'm hoping in the next film we'll get an iPod and just be blown away because it's building up. But yeah, I mean it's made it, and a nice holiday special. I think will do well. I'm excited. And the fact that it's going to count towards stuff as well. It's not just like a little throwaway, bit of fun for nothing. It's going to end on some sort of cliffhanger that's going to make you want to watch the film next year, isn't it? And they're going to tease us. Or someone's going to turn up right at the end and the internet's going to implode on Christmas Day or whenever it comes out. What else am I looking forward to? But on a side note, Forces TV... If the UK, it looks like a lot of their Christmas is going to be made up of Dempsey and Makepeace, The Man from Atlantis, May to December, Chance of a Million, and they've also started Get Back, which was a 1990 sitcom with
they got Larry Lamb in.
Yeah, it's Larry Lamb, Ray Winston.
Yeah,
Kate Winslet was the daughter. And Jim Brannon from EastEnders. John Barden was the dad, and there's a few other faces that you'll recognise.
I vaguely remember that. I don't know. I mean, just for how I can remember, just from your title, that Larry Lamb was in it. Something about they move in with the in-laws or something like that, and one of those kind of. Yeah,
they end up in like a council flat or something.
Yeah,
and it's all So that's another one. So they're chucking out some classic British sort of cult TV and almost forgotten shows really as well, which is quite enough. And also you get a bit of Chips and Buck Rogers and the Omega Factor as well chucked in for a bit of difference. So if you fancy a bit of difference, I can't see that out for December. So they may have run that at the moment because the fact that Buck Rogers is back, Buck Rogers is usually about every 4 months. So I think when that'll end, you'll get the Midnight Caller maybe back again, or Quantum Leap. But Quantum Leap's gone to the other channel now, hasn't it? Yeah. So they might have the rights to that now. But that's on the Forces TV channels. There's a few bits on there for when you're stuck for something to watch in between Noel's house party, Ant and Dec's house party, and Paul K's house party with dogs or whatever. Not Paul K. What's his name? Lily Savage's.
Paul O'Grady.
Paul O'Grady's house party with some dogs that might get put down or whatever it is. Then go and give that a try.
One of the things that I am waiting to Christmas to watch is Hawkeye, because that's dropping every week. So I'm waiting to Christmas to actually stream those.
Do you know what? This is going to shock you to the core.
That's how you watched it.
No, I haven't watched it.
Oh.
But I had Disney Plus on the other day, and when you hover on something or you click on something and it starts to play either the trailer or another clip, depending on the time of day. But there was a clip I hadn't seen. I thought, do you know what? I'm getting desperate for things to watch. I might give this Hawkeye nonsense a go.
I think you'd like Hawkeye because it's street level superheroing. It's not. His powers is that he's good with a bow and arrow. He's not flying. He hasn't got a cape. And weapons and stuff. But it's not. It's not your.
Is he the Oliver Queen of the MCU?
In a way, yeah. But he's a bit more. He's happy to be in the background. He doesn't want the line. No, Hawkeye's kind of his own man. Captain America can go and do all the adverts for the kids and throw his shield around and do his American stuff. He's happy stood in the shadows doing his bit. He's like, I'll let them do that. And people are like, oh, you should be, more bigger. And he's like, nah, you're all right. He's a bit like that. And he's a family man and that sort of thing.
Okay.
But I think you'd like more. It's more,
like you, Paul, I'm going to wait till it all drops. Because we're only about 4 episodes in now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, and just following on from that as well, they've announced this week, Marvel, just keeping on the Marvel thing, that Charlie Cox will be Daredevil in the MCU. Which
words.
I know, but he was Daredevil in the Netflix series. The ones that were
quite liked it.
So they've acknowledged that he will play him in the MCU. And
what about his little sidekick dude? Are they going to bring him back? Because he was the best one in it.
Well, exactly. That's the speculation now. Because if Daredevil exists in the MCU and they're going to have him back playing it, all the other series and that, are they suddenly going to... So that's created a little ripple of excitement. So I'm guessing maybe the new Spider-Man film might have something to do with that for them to sort of mention that about now. Maybe Spider-Man needs a lawyer and he gets Matt Murdock. And we don't see Daredevil, but we might see.
Anyway, this so could have been
an
MCU free episode, but no,
it's never gonna happen. And you brought it up.
No, I didn't. I didn't bring up Hawkeye.
You said you watched it.
No, I didn't. Yeah, but I didn't actually bring Hawkeye into the conversation, did I?
Oh man!
You said you might watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, just talking about Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Yeah. But anyway, a little bit of news there as well. So, and there might be some other links as well, but I won't go into them yet because no one's watched Hawkeye yet. So I'm shutting my mouth up.
G'day.
What else would you like to talk about that's not MCU then, Damien?
I'm actually running out of things. There's a Ghost Christmas special. Neither of you two have watched Ghosts, so let's not have a discussion.
Is that the one where they like to live in a house?
That's right. That's the one. Yeah.
But they're dead.
And they're dead because they're ghosts.
But they don't actually live in the house because they're dead. I was just making that
Good point, Paul. Well done. Pedantic.
None of us looking forward to Hansel and Gretel After Ever After with David.
Absolutely not. I was.
And I read Smith. Down, and it was then I realised he was in it.
Yeah. I've got no desire to watch anything that's got David Walliams in. He's a cockwomble and shouldn't be allowed on the television. And
Sheridan Smith peaked inside number 9, the 12 Days of Christine.
12 Days of Christine, yeah.
Which is a Christmassy episode anyway. I think that was one of their Christmas specials. Go and check that out instead of this.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing
they are doing I know I did spot in one of they're doing the Krampus one. It's being repeated, so it might
cool.
be. It was not Krampus, whatever it was.
Krampus was
the one where they're in the Alps or whatever it was. I won't say any more than that because that gives anything you say will give away the plot to Inside Number 9. So it's difficult to talk about them if you haven't seen them.
Yeah, go and check them out. They're all still on iPlayer. Go and do it. because it's good. Another BBC special that I'm looking forward to actually is the We Wish You a Mandy Christmas with Diane Morgan as Mandy. It was the BBC Three show that was good, and they've got a Christmas special that kind of looks. It's kind of a real dark humour kind of reflection on life, and it's very funny.
I thought it was going to be a take on the Nicolas Cage film Mandy.
No, she's just called Mandy, and the theme tune was the Manilow theme tune. But it's Diane Morgan, who you will know as Philomena Kunk, or as I can't remember the name, but she's in that one where all the mums at Motherland, is it? No, when they all meet at the gate of the school. She's like the
normal one.
The council estatey one, if you want to be like, the normal one in that. And Mandy's sort of a more worse character than that one, a bit further down the council estate line, trying to get by. And the series was really funny, a bit dark at times, but it's normally, it'd only be like 20 minutes, half an hour, but it's normally quite a nice slice of irrelevant sort of fun and weirdness and just stuff that may offend some people. But
that's my list.
Yeah. Oh, it's on the 20th of December, that one. But if you haven't watched it yet, the series is on iPlayer.
Okay. So, I mean, it has to be mentioned, I guess. There's a Doctor Who Christmas special.
New Year's Day.
Is it New Year, is it?
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
But it's still over.
Holiday special.
Oh, yeah, holiday.
There we go. There's a Doctor Who holiday special.
Because that's the contentious thing, see. It was always Christmas, and then last year they moved it to New Year's Day.
Yeah, well, Strictly takes over everything now as far as the BBC is concerned, isn't it? So it's EastEnders and BBC and Strictly. That's it as far as
who dies on EastEnders this year?
No.
Is it this lawyer bloke? It's about time he's going to go, is it? I reckon.
Oh, God.
No idea what you're talking about.
But anyway,
is it Bradley Walsh in it now? No, not Bradley Walsh. The other one.
Yeah, I know.
The not so good Bradley Walsh.
Yeah, mate, he used to do something dangerous.
Yeah. Brian Connolly. There we go.
Brian Connolly.
Oh, that was gonna hurt me. That was.
What was his thing? Something dangerous on it. Something dangerous.
Dangerous Dan. No, that's not.
Whatever it was.
I don't know.
That was one of his characters, I want it, but
there was something dangerous. You're right, definitely.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, Doctor Who. I just got it in front of me now. She's following on from the conclusion of Doctor Who Flux, the hotly anticipated episode. Sees Jodie Whittaker return as a Doctor alongside it tells us nothing. But
is it hotly anticipated though? I mean, it's Daleks again. I don't get the fascination with Daleks.
I think Daleks just equal ratings, as bad as that sounds.
People expect it to be good. That's why they're supposed to be the big bad guys. But you're right. They just got a bit silly. And when they started floating, and the special effect was so bad, it kind of had the reverse effect. Yeah,
I think they're just one of the worst foes of the Doctor. Those and Cybermen, they don't float my boat.
Yeah, they come back to them, but they're to me they're the ones that haven't aged well. When you've got them, but then you've got the Weeping Angels, who were an amazing idea and worked really well. And then although they did make the Daleks fly a little bit, so they could go upstairs finally.
That's what I just said, and it ruined it.
I know. So I was agreeing with you.
Yeah.
But just
a bit naff.
Yeah. But not exactly Christmas films, and not new, but one of the things I'm waiting for, because I have to pay for it on Sky, is to rent out Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and the James Bond latest one as well.
Venom was good. I haven't seen the James Bond one, but I kind of know what happened now, but I'll shut up.
Yeah.
One thing I am looking forward to that I only found today when we were looking forward to things to look forward to for Christmas, a lot of looking forward, is on Sky Cinema debuting over Christmas. I don't know if this has been out already or if it's just one of those Sky Cinema exclusives, like when they do that, and it's called The Last Train to Christmas.
Yes.
And it stars Michael Sheen, your favourite.
Michael Sheen.
And I want to say, I think it's not pronounced Nat. I think it's Nathalie Emmanuel, but I think
the one of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, she's in Game of Thrones.
That's right.
And
I saw the trailer for this the other day.
And it looks a bit
Fast and Furious as well, isn't she?
It looks. I've never seen them. It looks a bit timey-wimey in that. So I'll give you I've got the spiel. It's got.
So So listen to the spiel, Damien, and see
I
if
know
this
the spiel.
reminds. I was going to say,
no,
see
I
if
don't know the spiel actually. I've seen the trailer for it, but I haven't.
see,
I haven't
see
heard
if
the
see
spiel.
I
if
haven't
this
seen the trailer.
reminds you of something.
Set in 1985, the film follows nightclub manager Tony Towers, Michael Sheen, who grabs a train to Nottingham for a Christmas family reunion with his young fiancée Sue Emmanuel and distant brother Roger, Carrie Ewells, E-L-W-E-S, Ewells, when discovers there's something
Princess
peculiarly
Bride.
strange
Yeah.
about the journey. As Tony moves up and down the train, he finds himself travelling forwards and backwards through his life, with his actions in some carriages affecting his life in the next. The question is, can Tony change his life and the lives of the people he loves for the better, or will he just make things worse? So again, a bit Christmas carol-y, bit the journey
It's a
sounds
Wonderful
familiar,
Life.
Yeah.
that type
bit,
thing, yeah. Bit of
There was that
everything.
one with, was that not James Belushi? His name now. It's got Linda Hamilton in.
Terminator.
No,
Terminator 2.
no. Shut up.
Beauty and the Beast.
Right, I'll give it up.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. But there's a film, and it's not James Belushi.
Explain the film, we might get it.
So this guy, he's a factory worker.
Jumanji.
It's got Michael Caine in actually, and Michael Caine pops up and says, you know, this is what your life could have been, or I have the power to change your life, or whatever. And then it's like he switches places with what his life could have been, and it's all about, you know, missing his former life. And because I think like Linda Hamilton is his wife originally, but then as his life changes, she's no longer his wife. He lives in a big house, and the one of the bits I remember is he's got a model of a I don't know, a Lamborghini or a Porsche or something with gold wing doors, and he's looking at the model, and now he's got the car, but it's like, I prefer to have the model because I can hold the model in my hand and open and close the doors. It's not. Oh, who is it? Oh, it's gonna really annoy me. When we finish this recording, I'm gonna have to look it up.
And Brett's looking.
Probably is, yeah.
He's got that look on his face.
Michael Caine, Linda Hamilton.
There can't be many
not James
films.
Belushi.
I'm guessing it's not Dante's Peak.
No, it's not. It doesn't matter, and people don't want to be listening to us trying to remember a film from probably 30 odd years ago.
Especially when they're shouting the answer to us, and the answer is Mr. Destiny.
That's the fella. And who's the lead?
Jim Belushi.
It is Jim Belushi.
Yeah, and Michael Caine's in it too.
So I was right.
John Lovitz is in it. Rene Russo, Pat Corley, Courtney Cox is in it.
Really? Obviously a small fleeting part.
And I don't know
what
who
year. Out of interest, what year was it?
I don't know who he is, but someone called Brian Buffington is in it as well. That sounds like a cool name.
It was 1990.
Yeah, 1990.
There we go. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's good.
I think
it
I have
lasting
seen
impression on me. Because I probably
Mr.
haven't seen it since probably
Destiny.
about 93 or something.
And if you live in the UK, you can currently rent Mr. Destiny from Prime Video for £2.49. Well, you can buy it as well, I think.
What a Christmas present that would be for someone.
Change someone's life with Mr. Destiny. Mr.
Anyway,
Destiny.
back to what we were originally talking about, this train thing. Yes, I do want to watch that. I think that looks good.
Yeah, it sounds good. Anyway. It's Michael Sheen's always a dependable actor. He's really good in that one about that quiz show, wasn't he?
He was brilliant in that. Playing what was his name? Chris Tarrant on TV.
He's alright. He's a bit overrated, isn't he? Let's face it.
Oh God, Paul O'Grady does have a TV special. I knew he would.
Yeah, of course he does.
The Love of Dogs.
I was being sarcastic earlier.
No. Daft. It'll go into Batsy Dog's Home probably in July, but they'll deck it out to make it look like Christmas.
Christmas, yeah, as always. Right, what else have we got? I think.
So I've just got a few things to list off quick. So Abominable Snow Baby on Channel 4, which is a Terry Pratchett, when he kind of started to delve into children's books. So I've never read it, so I don't know. Don't know the plot, don't know the story, but I've seen an advert for it. It looks quite good. It looks old school animation, not, no silliness.
And let's face it, the Snowman's looking a bit dated nowadays, isn't it? So this could be a new replacement for that.
Yeah, maybe so. And Clarice starts on Alibi. I think towards the end of the year, 28th, 29th of December, something like
Oh,
that.
so it finally arrived
Finally
in the
come
UK.
over here. I don't know, but I haven't even. I've obviously seen the trailer for it when it was originally being bandied about on the internet, but I haven't bothered to get hold of any copies, if you like. So I don't know if that's any good.
The series has got good reviews. I haven't watched any of it, or okay, I've seen the episode trailers because we get them through to to put out for the on cultfaction.com. But obviously we haven't been able to watch it because it's not over yet. But it looks good in the trailers. But we'll see.
And for those of you that like old school, quirky whodunits drama, are showing Jonathan Creek every weeknight from the 13th of December. I remember enjoying that back in the day.
That was another one. That was always one like Death in Paradise to me, where it was always hard to kind of work out exactly what the killing was or how it was done. Or
it's just only got one right. Easy watching, isn't it?
Yeah, some of them were hit and miss, and I think it did go downhill when Caroline Quinton left.
Yeah.
Some of it went a bit silly, and they did some. They've revived it a few times in the last couple of years, and they've not been as good. But there you go. That's going to be on the drama channel over in the UK every night from the 30th of December. So you're bound to find some that are good.
Did that make you ever do anything else apart from QI? Because he kind of played. I know it was like a
successful stand-up tours.
Okay, no, it was a stand-up, wasn't he? But I mean, yeah, but I'm on about
TV show on UK Gold or Dave,
as an actor. I mean, he's done QI for like 20 years, or whatever, and he's done his stand-up
Thunderpants or something.
I don't know, but he done that, but then I don't ever remember him in any other TV shows or anything.
I forget, Brett. If you're not on telly, you're not successful as far as you're concerned. So.
I know you are. No, I'm saying as an actor, has he done anything else? Not as I know he's a stand-up. I know he's done his quiz stuff, and QI's been on for years, and he's always on that. But I just wonder if has he acted in anything else?
Yeah,
that's the only thing I remember him.
Didn't he do something Thunderpants or something? Wasn't that him? I don't know. I don't know
that one. So when you say that, I'm thinking of that film again that we all didn't like.
No,
that was Thunder Force. I know.
Yeah.
Oh well. I've got a few horror delights over Christmas that are coming to the horror channel in the UK.
Ooh.
If anyone's interested, on Christmas Eve, you can watch Santa's Sleigh, spelled S-L-A-Y. Do you see what they did? Which stars wrestling superstar Bill Goldberg as a demon who loses a bet and has to become Santa Claus. So you can imagine he won't be happy about that. And then Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is the one where the man sees his parents. Don't they get murdered by someone dressed as Santa? And then I think he dresses up as Santa and wreaks revenge on naughty people. That was a bit of I think he has an axe as well. And then on Christmas Day, I will say this, if you've got kids, do not get this confused. The Jack Frost on the horror channel is not the Jack Frost with Michael Keaton. This one is a bit like Child's Play, but rather than the guy getting killed going into a doll, it goes into a snowman. And Jack Frost was mainly famous because it was, I think, Shannon Elizabeth from American Pie. It was like her first film, and there's a bit in a bathtub and a snowman and a carrot. Yeah. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And then Jack Frost 2, back-to-back Jack Frost.
Cool.
On
Jack is back
on Christmas Day. But again, do not get those muddled up with the Michael Keaton one, because if you sit your kid down in front of that, they're going to have a lot more questions about the world. Clive Barker's The Plague is on Boxing Day, as well as Boxing Day evening. They are showing Street Trash, the classic B movie where a liquor store owner finds some dodgy wine and starts selling it to the local hobos and people, and they all start melting and weird stuff happens.
That's a stone cold classic, that is.
Yeah, so Street Trash, Boxing Day. What else I got? They're also showing over Christmas. They are showing Anna and the Apocalypse on Christmas Day, which is the Scottish musical. That's quite. I didn't think I'd like that, but it's weird and it works.
Rubbish.
And also, they're still showing Airwolf.
Why?
Because they like.
They got
Airwolf.
time to fill.
No, yeah, I know, but that annoys me. It annoys if you're horror. It's like sci-fi when they put on something that's not sci-fi. It's like, no.
Well, the Horror Channel have been doing it for years. They used to have Star Trek on there, and I think they had Babylon 5 on there for a while.
Exactly.
And we were
Some
grateful.
of those episodes were shocking, but
Yeah.
it's like, imagine like MTV playing stuff that's not music.
Oh, could you imagine?
You know, never happen, would it?
Right, you got anything, Paul?
Only a really bad cold that I want to get rid of.
Can't help you there.
No, but I am looking forward to classic Christmas films as well. AKA, you know, all the stuff that's on Sky Cinema Christmas, things like Gremlins. Enjoying all of those over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'm yet to start my Advent countdown. Scrooged, I think I might watch tomorrow afternoon or at some point over the next day or so. And yeah, like you say, Gremlins.
There is
worth. We'll go on.
I'm going to watch all of it, but I'll say there is a feature on Disney Plus, which is called, or at least in the UK version, which is called their Merry Christmas Collection. And basically, if you click on it, it goes to the films, the cartoons, and basically all the different TV shows on Disney Plus. But it links to all their Christmas-specific episodes.
So I saw that. I thought it was just going to be a load of Olaf nonsense.
No, so say there's got like Modern Family, Blackish, New Girl, Grey's Anatomy, and whatever. But it just directs you to their Christmas episodes. So if it was something, you know, you just wanted to watch the Christmas episodes of like The Simpsons or Family Guy or American Dad or Bob's Burger, well, everything that's on Disney Plus now. I don't know if there's a Sons of Anarchy Christmas special. I can't remember. But
I don't think there was.
I wonder whether there was Christmas. Maybe no one died.
Unless they spent Christmas in Northern Ireland, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they did a stopover in Lapland.
Yeah.
Santa got whacked. But so there's all
that was them. The night the reindeer died, it was them.
Yeah, they burned its patch off. And but yeah, so on Disney Plus, if you did want to, you know, something Christmassy and you weren't sure, all the different sort of Christmas related episodes are on there as well, which is quite a useful idea, I suppose, and something I may use at school.
Right then, I guess on that note, it's probably a good time to draw this episode to a close. So as we always say, don't forget to rate and review us on your preferred podcast app. If you want to get in touch with us, we can be found on Twitter. You can find us on cultfaction.com, and you can email us at cultfactionpodcast@mail.com. And until next time, you have been listening to me, Damien Hicks.
And me, Brett Summers.
And it's a ho, ho, ho from me, Paul Hawkins.
Ho, ho, ho.
God bless us, everyone.
Bah, humbug.
Superman.
I'm trying to be all festive. I am.
Well, if you're going to do it for Christmas special, December's the time to do it.
You know when Carrie Fisher wanted people to leave parties, she used to put that on.
No, people need to sleep. I think I'm ready.
God, I really understand why Spengler tried to drill a hole in his head.
Do it.
Let my Hawkins go.
Well,
What?
Oakley. Deck the halls with boughs of holly.
Wow, 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 wow.
Blunder!
the hunt for Bible John.
Who's Bible John?